Boah, es könnte so eine richtige Fabgun-League werden, ne? Je nachdem, was jetzt dieses Breach Rework-Ding wird. Ja, Tom?
Jo.
Es geht los. Also gleich. Jetzt. Jetzt. Gleich. Jetzt.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame, which is coming out 1 week from now on October the 31st. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Hive-born crawler pet by following the instructions below. Without further ado, let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile, Keepers of the
Kriegen wir
Flame.
das hier überhaupt in Watch Together?
Hä? Ach, das ist bei dir nicht drin?
The keepers of the flame.
Achso, nee. Du musst dir das nebenbei aufmachen.
Of the dreamer.
Mach dir einfach einen Tab mit Muted auf.
From beyond the wall of sleep. But now, the Hiveborn are here, on Rayclast, and they seek to poison our world.
Poison! Okay, die Dinger sehen schon mal 5-mal geiler aus.
Destroy their hives. Slay their breach lords.
Shit.
Okay.
And by his gifts, the dreamer provides.
Na klar. Dumm.
They brought this war to our world, but we shall end it, whatever it takes.
Na klar, es ist. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Ja.
3 Uberbosse auch. 3?
Es.
3? Irgendein
As you can
Skilltree.
see, this expansion is a true sequel to the Breach League, first introduced to the game in 2016. We felt like it was time to progress the story of Breach, bringing with it a slew of new updates to the base game. In today's stream, we'll take you on a deep dive into Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame, beginning with the League mechanic, covering all the fearsome challenges it presents, and the new twisted ways you'll be able to empower your character. After that, we'll dive into the new ascendancy options possible with Bloodline classes. Then we'll cover the much anticipated and synchronous trade system coming to Path of Exile 1. Afterwards, we'll move into the new Uber Pinnacle bosses, how to access them, and some new drops worthy of the added difficulty. Finally, we'll cover some notable quality of life improvements before moving on to our supporter packs and challenge rewards. We'll then have a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile's game directors Mark and myself your questions from Twitch chat. And after the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes at 11 AM New Zealand time or 3 PM Pacific. So let's get started. I'll hand things over to Mark to introduce the new league.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile.
Hi, Mark.
Breach is a beloved league that has had an iconic history in PoE. We intend to honor that legacy with our first ever sequel league, Keepers of the Flame. This develops every aspect of Breach, adding new layers to discover, richer lore, scarier bosses, and entirely new mechanics. That said, this is still Breach, so you will still be opening breaches and slaying hordes of otherworldly monsters. The Breach Lords have found the means to stabilize the connection between their realm and Rayclast. Now, with their grip tightening, we learn their true goal in our world, conquest. The threat they pose has now escalated to home soil. On the coast in Act 1, you'll encounter Aelith, the founder of the Keepers of the Flame. This is a monastic order sworn to defend Rayclast from the Breach Lords. The exit to the Mudflats has been barricaded by Hiveborn, Breach monsters that are working to claim every inch of Rayclast. Aelith can grant you a small spark of the power of the Flame, allowing you to blast away their barricade and move onwards. Once you enter the Mudflats, you'll find it infested with Breach monsters.
Also gehen wir Mudflats
They
her.
appear to be constructing a kind of hive, creating strange shapes and structures that absolutely don't belong. Time to purge them with fire. Aelith needs you to protect her as she empowers the Flame to do so. Hold off the assault long enough, and she'll be able to demolish the hive with Cleansing Flame. In other areas, the gap between worlds is strained. Here, you'll find a more familiar encounter with a new twist. A massive breach hand sunders the space between dimensions, and touching it will open an unstable breach, causing monsters to flood in. If you can slaughter them quickly enough, you can stabilize the breach. This brazen action can draw the attention of Vroon, Marshal of Zesht, who will do everything it can to stop you. Defeating this boss will permanently seal the breach, severing another connection between the Breach Lord's
Das ist so
world
gut,
and
ne? So ein guter
Rayclast.
Change wieder einfach.
These stabilized breaches are similar to what a breach once was, but with upgraded monsters, a success condition to shoot for, UI tracking to keep the player informed of their progress through the encounter, and satisfying feedback when you do manage to complete the encounter. We've taken all the lessons we've learned since the release of Breach 9 years ago and improved upon it in every way we can. However, much of the joy of Breach came from its simplicity. While we want to modernize the mechanic, we don't want to undermine the core experience. You're still mostly just slaughtering hordes of enemies in a circle. Finally, in endgame areas you might run into breach constructions that have been left unopposed for too long, and have grown into their full twisted glory.
Das sieht so cool
Breach
aus.
hives. Towering flesh-crafted cities in the sky. These are the visions of the Breach Lords made real in Rayclast, teeming with breach monsters. You must raid and destroy these cities with the help of Aelith and her Flame. In some of these hives, you may even encounter some of the Breach Lords themselves, who will not be happy you're intruding on their planned conquest. Now, let's talk loot. Of course, being in exile is hard work, and you're unlikely to help entirely out of the goodness of your heart. Fortunately, Aelith has power and rewards aplenty, born of the Breach Realm itself, to offer you for your assistance. Help her, and she'll bring you to the Monastery of the Keepers, the hallowed halls of her order. Here, you'll find the Genesis Tree, the growing heart of the Keeper's power. On interacting with it, you'll find that this tree has a tree. That's right. It couldn't be Path of Exile unless the tree also had a tree. More importantly, the Genesis Tree is an engine of unholy creation, and a profitable one. As you complete breach encounters and work more with Aelith, you'll be able to grow the Genesis Tree larger and larger, sprouting additional limbs. Each of these limbs, you'll notice, has their own inventories. These can be used for an unusual method of crafting new items. With this system, you'll be able to grow currency, uniques, equipment, and a new kind of otherworldly item, grafts. Grafts are breach hands grown directly from the Genesis Tree, born of the same flesh and sinew as the invading monsters. These fuse directly to your body, in a completely safe process. Don't worry about it. With grafts, you can harness the power of the breach. Some provide passive benefits like this, or this, but they can also grant a wide selection of powerful skills. These graft skills can provide a flexible way to fill gaps in your build, offering everything from damage to potent defensive buffs and crowd control. For example, the Battering All graft will call massive arms to erupt from the earth, stunning all those they hit. For some additional pack clearing power, you could consider the Squalling Tool graft. When commanded, this graft will cast darts in the white, creating a deadly ice tornado, which aggressively seeks enemies and fires off bursts of ricocheting projectiles when you critically strike with skills. For some further utility and a useful buff, try out the Storming Ash graft. This can be commanded to call down a ring of bolts from the sky that will leave behind the new Radiant Ground. Radiant Ground grants a potent damage buff to allies standing within it and makes their hit damage lucky. If you're simply after raw damage, look no further than the Erupting Zoth graft, which causes massive eruptions of fire where you command, which then re-erupt when you warcry. There are a total of 16 different graft types you can grow, each with their own skill. You can even unlock a second graft slot as you progress through Aelith's questline, so feel free to mix and match Fleshstone horrors to your heart's content. Now, grafts aren't just here to make you stronger, they are also your means of feeding the Genesis tree, which needs constant supplies of graft blood to grow anything useful. You can do this by defeating breach monsters, which will leave behind blood that your graft will automatically collect. When you feed this blood to the tree, your allocated passives will be put to work. This section of the Genesis tree can be used to grow new grafts for you, which the Genesis tree will then birth in a gruesome display. Basic passives on the tree might increase item rarity of birthed grafts, or the chance to birth additional grafts. These passives can target specific types of grafts, and this passive causes grafts to be birthed with a random amount of quality. Quality improves the amount of blood that can be stored by your grafts. This section of the Genesis tree births currency items. Basic passives can result in more or better currency. Allocate this passive to sometimes cause a shower of currency to burst forth from the flesh of the tree.
Mein Lieblingstree.
Yeah, it's a bit gross, but working with the organic matter of a bunch of dead otherworldly creatures was never going to be a clean affair.
Fullborn Orb of Augmentation.
Grafts themselves are born of a different world, so are unmodifiable by most currencies. However, with this passive, the Genesis tree can occasionally grow fleshy mockeries of currency orbs. These function like augmentation orbs, regal orbs, or exalted orbs, but they work on your grafts instead of normal gear.
Also.
Yep, it's graft crafting. Allocating this passive can result in foulborn currency.
Oh, wie stark kannst du werden, Digga? Ist das
behaves as a
dumm.
normal exalted orb, except it guarantees a higher tier modifier. By locking out a
dumm,
large portion
sowieso.
of the lower rolls, a normal exalted orb would be able to hit.
Aber ist auch dumm.
The largest section of the Genesis tree is used to grow rare equipment items.
Ja gut, macht Sinn.
For these, you have a lot of agency to influence the type and modifiers on your grown item.
Boah.
For example, you can specifically target boots with a dexterity requirement, with an increased chance for speed modifiers,
Boah.
and reduced chance for cold modifiers.
Ach du
Or
Scheiße.
maybe you'd prefer to look for a two-handed axe with increased chance for physical modifiers.
Holy shit, das ist krass.
This section of the tree is for growing unique items. Similar to the equipment section, there are passives that let you target growing specific types of uniques or rarer uniques. The process of growth is not always a perfect one, however, and can result in some defects. This passive can result in birthed uniques becoming foulborn, which mutates one of the existing modifiers on the item into a new one, resulting in some interesting new ways to use that unique.
What the fuck?
For example, this foulborn quill rain no longer has increased projectile speed, but instead has increased area of effect. Another foulborn quill rain could replace the mana gained on hit with the much more powerful modifier where insufficient mana doesn't prevent your bow attacks. Here are some other examples.
LOL! Ja, der...
Was?
Der Goldrim.
Foulborn uniques to have multiple different modifiers
Der
mutated.
Goldrim, den will ich zum Leveln,
I'm
bitte.
sure you'll come up with some extremely powerful uses
Ja,
for
den nutzt du auch
these.
danach noch.
Das stimmt.
We'll leave it up to you to discover what this mysterious part of the Genesis tree can grow. So, ultimately, you'll be slaying masses of breach monsters, harvesting blood with the aid of your graph.
Das wird 90% der PoE-Community komplett abfeuern
growing
drauf,
some
ne?
items,
Auch
and
dieses
better crafts,
Determinate
back again to
Crafting
the
und so.
slaughter.
Boah.
As with all our challenge leagues, this league will come with a set of 40 challenges to pursue. And
Natürlich.
completing them will award you with the Keeper of the Flame armor
Macht
set,
Pain alle.
allowing you to truly embrace
Muss.
becoming a monk and worshipping the Dreamer. Now, graph skills won't be the only new tools to play with. In 327, we're also adding a collection of new
Jetzt bin ich
skill
gespannt.
and support gems. Let's go over them now. Kinetic Rain is a new wand attack, which covers the ground in unstable kinetic energy. These hazards
sieht schon
collapse at the slightest touch,
Nicht
releasing
kacke
their
aus.
energies into any unfortunate soul who happens to be standing on them. With enough projectiles and area of effect, an enterprising exile could carpet the world in dangerous kinetic force. Wall of Force creates a barrier of kinetic power, causing
Oh, in
allied
die Fresse,
projectiles to
Junge.
ricochet towards targets automatically. Drop one behind a boss and
Digga,
redirect
mit
the bolts
Kinetic
of your
Plus so viel
armies.
Damage machen ist auch ein
I'm
bisschen
sure
illegal,
you'll find
ne?
ways to
Die
break this
Mason.
one. Conflagration is a new bow attack which rains down fiery bolts from above that stick into the ground and
Boah,
pulse as you
den spiele
approach.
ich.
Once you get close enough, these bolts detonate, causing
Wow.
ravaging ignites.
Übel cool, hä?
These bolts
It's a
chain
good one.
react, allowing you to create fields of incendiary destruction.
Das ist ein good one.
Ja.
Thunderstorm is a bow attack, which creates a whirling storm of wind and lightning where it
Auch
lands.
cool.
While you're within the storm, it will
Dumm
rapidly
random,
grow
aber übel cool
until it
irgendwie.
becomes violently thunderous with lightning-infused clouds. At this point, leaving the storm will cause it to detonate, dealing damage to
Ja, das ist
everything
auch so
within
cool.
and releasing a flurry of tornadoes in all
Aber auch die
directions.
Breach-Anzeige und so ist so cool.
Auch richtig cool, ja.
Attacking with kinetic fusillade will create hovering orbs of energy. These linger for a few moments above you before zipping
Oh, ja.
off to nearby
Ember
targets,
Fusillade einfach
chaining between
in
them, then
kinetic.
detonating. Living lightning support will bring to life living sparks of energy. Elemental
Aha.
minions that zap through packs of
see,
enemies
PoE
with
2 auch
speed
wieder.
and ease. Use these alongside your spellcasting to augment your pack
Boah.
player abilities, or find whatever means possible to cover the world in living sparks of ruin.
Das sind halt Minions.
Windburst support unleashes chaotic tornadoes as you attack, which ricochet around wildly and quickly. These deal moderate damage as they travel, but will explode into a highly damaging burst when they expire. So it's a choice between scaling their duration up to get better coverage, or down to access the burst
Oh
more
Gott, das
quickly.
können sie nicht machen mit mir.
Kinetic instability is a support
Tornado
tool
shots.
to go along with the new wand
Yeah.
attacks that causes enemies slain to leave behind those same orbs of shimmering energy that kinetic rain creates.
Okay.
One might ponder just how many orbs you can create if you were to use
Boah.
both.
What the fuck?
In
Das sieht
327,
aus wie die
Exiles will
Attacke
be able to
von,
absorb the
boah, wie
power
heißt
of
der,
some of the
Baran,
bosses
Alter?
they defeat.
Stimmt.
These take the form of new Ascendancy class
Bloodline
options
classes.
called
Oh
Bloodlines.
mein Gott.
Ich schwöre, da ist irgendeine Broken
Bloodline
Class ist
classes
dabei.
are a new means of character customization in the endgame.
Nicht nur eine, glaube ich.
They are secondary Ascendancy classes that are unlocked by defeating specific in-game bosses.
Okay.
They are allocated with your normal Ascendancy points, and you'll have to choose how many of your points go into the original Ascendancy
Oh
and
mein
how
Gott.
many into your Bloodline class. This means there is a nigh limitless ability to mix and match here, as you could choose to invest just a couple
Wie gut
points
kann
into your
dieses Spiel
Bloodline,
werden?
or max it out. And you could take any Bloodline with any base Ascendancy class that you see
Any
fit.
Das ist das.
To unlock
What?
your Bloodline, hunt down the
Wie
enemy
viele
bosses power you
Kombinationen?
desire and defeat
Digga,
or have a friend help and claim
ich
the
bin
power for your own.
so froh über die Entscheidung, die wir früher getroffen haben,
There are
dieses Spiel zu
10
spielen.
Bloodline classes to discover.
Wirklich.
Bosses who offer this power are typically associated
Bro.
with past leagues, giving additional reasons to engage with that
Bleh.
league content. Let's run over a few examples.
Ja, bitte, zeig mal.
The Chaos Bloodline will be offered to you by the Trial Master, if you manage to succeed his
Ich schwöre, da
final
sterbe ich
challenge.
einfach beim Spawn, weil ich drin stehe.
With his blessing, you can greatly augment your
Digga.
vow
Digga,
skills
der
in
Damage.
different ways.
Okay.
Ja,
Priest of Yaumak lets you use vow skills much more often, while Priest of Kopek
Was?
makes it harder to build up vow
Ah.
skills, but makes them far more powerful. Or take Corruption's Embrace, which grants more vow keystone powers the more corrupted items you have equipped. The Ashabi bloodline can be gained by, you guessed it, defeating Ashabi.
Ushabi.
Her abilities are drawn from the 3 types of life force that manifest within as Marion
Da, wo jetzt der
spirits.
Skill schon gezeigt wird,
The
glaubst du, wird
wild bear
genervt?
rewards you with
Ja.
adrenaline for generating rage.
Rage?
The vivid cat gives your elusive buffs a chance to refresh, as
Ah,
well as
okay, die
making
hat
you
so
more
mehrere.
stealthy
Ja.
while elusive. The
Macht Sinn.
primal owl allows your unleashed spells to reoccur many additional times, and get stronger for each
Whoa,
time they reoccur.
what?
The nameless bloodline comes from the king in the mists.
Oh mein Gott, das macht Unleash Skills
E4
ultra
His
cool.
menacing power comes at a great cost. With the unseen hand, you can equip
Hä?
a third ring.
Was?
But you'll have to decide if that comes at the expense of having no amulet, no belt, or no flasks.
Oh mein Gott.
Unlike Silhouette,
Aber
adds a hefty life
das ist
cost
trotzdem
to all your
krass, weil der
spells.
Ringslot ist der beste Slot im
But
Spiel.
they deal additional chaos damage
Ja, aber es...
based on the amount of
Und du
life
musst halt
spent.
Ascendancies dafür reinwerfen, ne? Also es ist schon auf jeden Fall ein Payoff.
What powers
glaub,
might you
im
gain
Late
from delving
Game-
deep underneath
im
the
Late
Game.
chaos to fight all the
Late
crystal
Game einer
core?
der brokensten Ascendancies,
What
würde ich
secrets
sagen.
can you learn from Lycia,
Holy
Herald of the
shit.
Scourge, waiting
Oh,
at the
Herald
end
of
of
the
the Forbidden
Scourge?
Sanctum? As you can imagine, there are countless possible combinations
Oh,
with this
wir kriegen
system.
keine mehr.
You could be a slayer that embraces corruption and vile power, or perhaps you'll play an occultist that doubles down on their dark power by integrating the nameless blood.
Boah, guck dir den Ring an.
We're excited to see what crazy and interesting builds players come up with. In the most recent Path of Exile 2 expansion, the Third Edict, we introduced a much anticipated feature, fully asynchronous trade. It was a fantastic success. So now we're excited to announce that we'll also be adding
Ersten
this
Tag
feature
nicht so,
into
danach
Path of
ja.
Exile 1. When you reach Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus in Lionized Watch. Previously,
Faustus.
he just operated the currency exchange. Now, he will also
Oh, ich krieg
act as
grad
a
Gänsehaut.
steward for your merchants tabs.
Hab nicht vergessen, dass der
These are
Wichser
where
mir
you
eine
can
Karte
place
abgezogen
items for
hat.
sale, for direct and instant purchase by other players,
Zahlt er dir
even
irgendwann
when you're
zurück.
not online.
Ja, hoffentlich.
To list an item, simply place it in the
Die
tab
Goldcremes der.
and select a currency.
Sind alle
In
mit
and
Chaos.
Digga. Den
20
kaufe ich für
Digga.
20 Divine Ops.
Once
Für
listed,
20
other
Divine
players
Ops, da
will be
bin ich
able to
drin.
find the item by searching for it via the trade website
Das ist doch der
or the
einzige.
new in-game market
Ja, der
search.
kostet so ein 200
To
oder so.
purchase something for
Ja.
yourself, it's as easy as hitting this button, which will teleport you to
Ja.
the seller's hideout,
Da sind
Geil.
30 Leute in deinem
Merchants
Hideout, wenn du das
tabs,
machst.
buy the item, and also view the rest of their wares in case something else catches your eye. Every purchase costs a small fee of gold, as Faustus takes his cut. To account for this further drain
Geil.
of gold,
Geil.
acquisition and cost balance
Geil.
elsewhere
Wenn
in the
der
game has
Karte
been
von mir
adjusted.
als Cut nimmt, ist in
Anything you've
Ordnung.
managed to sell successfully will have
Geil.
your profits collected here.
Jetzt schon
In a
geil.
separate
Können
tab
jetzt
Das war
schon
immer
aufhören.
geil. Das war immer geil, das da rauszunehmen. Das
To be
geiles
clear,
Feeling.
Das stimmt.
previous means of trading, such as via pre-existing premium stash tabs and the website, will still function just as before. Merchants tabs and the asynchronous
Der
trading that
Typ.
comes with them are
Buying diff
entirely
1 zu
additive
500,
feature
selling
on top of
diff
the
1 zu
already existing methods to trade.
Das ist frech. Das ist frech.
Das
Das
ist
ist frech.
crazy.
You might find yourself needing the trade system to buy some upgrades,
Oh yeah.
because this update also introduces 3 new
Oh,
Uber Pinnacle
Gänsehaut.
boss fights. These encounters are manifested from the memories
Oh
of
mein
Zion,
Gott, die in Uber, ja
and in the
crazy.
long torment,
Holy
they
shit.
have festered into something truly deadly. These fights offer an imposing challenge,
Boah.
alongside powerful rewards. In
Boah.
order to gain access, similar to existing Uber Pinnacle fights, you'll need to discover fragments dropped by Tier 17 map bosses. Each attempt at the new Uber Pinnacle fights will require 5 of these. Let's dig into some of the challenges you'll need to face in these new Uber versions. In the original incarnation of Neglect fight, the statues can be used to block the
Macht
laser
natürlich die
beams to
17
hide
Maps
behind,
noch angenehmer, ne?
giving you an opportunity to avoid being shocked, frozen, or killed. When you run near these statues, they activate and allow you to reposition them. While activated, they will not stop the lasers, meaning you want to position them well, then avoid them. However, in the Uber version of this fight, instead of being a safe haven, the statues will refract the laser beams, causing a ruckus of energy to cover the arena.
Lol.
Activating them will prevent the refraction. So unlike the base fight, where you want to position them well and then avoid them, you'll be wanting to constantly keep these statues
Holy
active.
shit.
But then you have to deal with their assaultive attacks.
Bro.
Einfach
While
Boss
fighting the
one-tappen.
incarnation of fear,
Einziges
these
Threat.
fiery orbs will slowly clutter up the arena, locking off portions of it until you
Alles
bait the boss
klar.
into detonating them himself with his thrown spear. When Uberified, these orbs are attached by a flaming leash to the boss, rotating around him constantly.
Das ist
More and more
crazy.
will spawn as the fight goes on, making it even more imperative that you clean them up by cleverly using the boss's abilities against him. Normally in the incarnation of Dread fight, during the bullet hell phase, you have to acquire a red rose, run it to the boss, then collect a blue rose, doing the same,
Oh mein Gott, das
causing
kommt.
it to get heavy
Das
stunned
wird gleich
and
safe dumm,
interrupting its
oder?
mechanic. In the Uber version, you have to do the same, but in order to get the blue rose, you have to defeat the incarnation of neglect. And to get the red rose, you have to defeat the incarnation of fear.
Das ist geil.
What the fuck?
Given the
mal,
difficulty of these
was?
bosses, their reward should be worth your while.
Das
Let's take
ist
a look at some.
crazy.
Dumm.
From the Uber incarnation of neglect fight, we have Bitter Instinct, a spiky shield that turns retaliatory strikes into preemptive ones,
Ja, für
making it just a
Retaliation
matter
Skills
of
geil.
time before the long arm
Holy
of
shit.
justice crushes your foes. Alternatively, you might find Festering Resentment, a poisoned blade with an unending supply of toxins built
Ooh.
into the hilt. These toxins are put to good use, causing every spell you trigger to be capable of poisoning with all damage it deals, enabling a truly crazy trigger-centric poison ruckus. And from the Uber incarnation of Dread, the Hallowed Monarch, a counterpart to the Dark Monarch, which focuses more heavily on investing into one or a few minions, rather than growing your hordes to massive proportions.
What the fuck?
Storm
Toll.
Wakelast, with your
Warte,
chosen
was?
few at your side, stealing power from your enemies as you go. We've got a number of quality of life
Ich hab
changes
meinen
to
Hut.
bring to 327 as well. Many of
Du musst
which
nur
you may have seen
überklatschen.
already in some of our pre-livestream teasers, but for those who haven't, Heist is a mechanic which has long frustrated some players who may otherwise have been interested in the rewards it has to offer, but have no desire to grind through the early progress of finding and running low-level contracts
So ein guter
to
Change.
get all of the rogues to their maximum level. Well, starting in 327, Heist rogues will automatically begin at maximum level, so you can start your
Wie krass
dubious
ist das?
criminal career
Sehr geil.
without all the busy
Also
work.
ultra krank.
Points invested into your Atlas passive tree will now be refundable with gold. Just speak to Kerak to do so.
Gut.
For players who love jumping between strategies, there's also an option to instantly refund your entire tree,
Auch so gut.
which of
Das ist
course
mein
can
Button.
now also
Der
be
gehört mir.
done with your
Wirklich.
regular passive tree as well. Now you can make all your decisions with no regrets. Well, maybe some
Oh.
regrets.
Ja, gut.
You no longer need to purchase bestiary orbs. You can now itemize beasts for free directly from your bestiary.
Auch krank.
From late Act 1, you can now mass identify your items at an NPC in every town,
Auch
and from
gut.
Helena in your hideout. This does not require Scrolls of Wisdom at all. While using an Alteration Orb, you can now hold Alt to swap to using an Augmentation Orb,
und, ne?
if one is available.
So geil.
Opening a Blight Chest will now
Oh.
open all other Blight
Oh.
Chests near it.
Das ist crazy.
Oh.
Rogue's disenchanting services can now be accessed from towns and hideouts. Kerak missions now have a handy icon to show at a glance what kind of mission they are. Holding
gut,
down
das bringt
control
mir nichts.
and
Ich bin
right-clicking
Legend
on
Tech.
stacked decks will now continuously open them to your inventory,
Auch so gut.
notifying you in chat what
Das
the
ist
outcome
krank.
is. If you still want to open them direct to the ground, to let your loot filter provide a dose of dopamine, you can still do that too by also holding shift.
Mein Gott.
Ja, ja.
Val orbs can be used on monsters encased in essences, to the same effect that remnants
Ja,
of corruption
das
So
halt länger.
gut. Auch so gut.
When multiple skill gems are ready to level at the same time, you'll now
Auch
be able to click
gut.
this button
Ich
to
werde
level
mir
them all up
die
at once.
Freizeit nehmen und mal Gems wieder hochleveln.
Next
Ich glaube, ich habe
up,
letztes
we're
Season
gonna be
sogar gemacht,
talking
habe
about
dadurch
our
ganz gut
new
Profit gemacht,
League
aber
supporter
Ja.
packs.
Supporterback. Okay,
Today,
zeig mir.
we're launching
Werd ich-
two
werd ich
series
arm?
of supporter packs.
Boah, das sieht geil
The
aus. das
Champion
Model.
of Theopolis and the Verdant Magus packs.
Boah.
Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points,
Oh.
alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
Oh.
As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power
Cap.
or progression in
Cap,
any way.
Cap. Labert nur.
Ja,
The
Cap.
Champion of Theopolis series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Boah, nicht schlecht schon. auf den ersten
Manifest a champion's ferocity, as the Lion's Might unique finisher effect rips your enemies to shreds. Open the Champion of Theopolis portal to end your crusade through maps in the
Portals sind
style
beide geil.
expected
Blick.
of
Ja,
a true
Portals sind
victor
wirklich
of
beide
the
geil.
arena.
Holy shit.
Defeat your enemies like a true gladiator, wearing the Grand Champion of Theopolis armor set.
Das holt mich nicht so ab.
The armor awarded only to the most elite warriors of the Grand Arena.
Ja, stimmt schon.
Take charge of the situation and storm into combat
Das Vieh
with
ist
the
geil.
Flaming Minotaur's Quicksilver Flask effect.
Die Quicksilver, Digga.
The champion's
Das ist ein
podium
Banger.
map device
Das-
rises up to honor the glory you've achieved as you activate it. Ascend
Boah.
the stairs and stand atop the platform as you enter your maps.
Boah.
Each flame surrounding the platform represents a remaining use on your portal.
Boah, cool.
The burden-back belly goat carries all the supplies necessary for a campsite as he travels behind you in battle. When placed in a hideout, instead of roaming around like your other pets, their supplies are deployed,
Das ist cool.
creating
Das
a
ist cozy.
small camp where you can access your stash and providing a place to take a load off while you rest next to the campfire.
Geil. Schon cool.
The Verdant
Das
Magus
Portal,
series
Digga,
contains
wow.
6 exclusive microtransactions.
Der Wolf, wow.
Having Faustus sell your items on your behalf is great and all, but sometimes you just want to feel a little bit more shady about your dealings. The back alley trader hideout decoration is more secretive with your trades, creating distance between you and your customers.
Das ist
Note
crazy.
that until
Hey, das ist ja
327
ultra.
is released, this back alley trader will only serve as your currency exchange. Once it's out, it will be updated to have the new managed shop option to also facilitate your trades.
Der
The
ist ja eine 11
Verdant
von
Wayfinder
10.
pet is a loyal companion to any Master Magus. As you approach waypoints, it envelops them with its vines,
Oh.
guiding you throughout Rayclast. Control Earth and nature itself, as the
Oh.
Great
Das
Verdant
ist nicht
Magus
schlecht.
armor set envelops you in the ancient power now lost to time.
Oh, ich hau
There's
rein, glaube ich.
also a matching back attachment included.
Das ist schon echt nicht schlecht.
Remnants of the forest ripple out from within you
Wow.
with the Verdant Magus
Cool.
level up effect equipped, restoring life to the corrupted land. Call on an ancient golem to use their power to create a safe passage
Bro,
for you to
dieses
retreat
Portal.
through
Das
with the
Portal ist so
arcane
heftig,
golem
Alter.
Ja. Also die
As
900
a
fliegen auf jeden
supreme
Fall.
Verdant
Also die,
Magus,
das
you
hier.
can travel to your arcane isle hideout. A cluster of
Oh,
islands held together by ancient
das ist
magic
geil.
passed down between elite mages. Stand atop your
What?
tower and relish the great heights you've reached above those who have not harnessed the arcane. These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console, and
Wow.
will remain so during Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame.
Geiles Setting.
Additionally, any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2. Meanwhile, the Crypt Keeper and Frisian Magistrate packs leave the store forever at the launch
Obwohl ich sagen
of
muss,
the
das
Keepers of
Ding
the
auch immer
Flame
noch,
League.
dieses
So now's your
Map-Device,
last chance to
boah.
purchase them.
Diese
Thank you so
Bibliothek,
much for your ongoing support.
auch geil.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame
Oh.
at 11 a.m. New Zealand time, 3 p.m. Pacific. With release at the end of next week, our
Wow.
community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep
Banger.
an eye on the news. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to holding off the Breach Lord's conquest, crafting gruesome grafts, planning dozens of bloodline-empowered builds, and filling out our tree's tree. We hope you all join us.
Boah.
Ja,
Boah. Ja.
G'day Exiles and welcome to the post-reveal discussion
Ja.
and Q&A with
Solide League
Tim
wird's,
and
glaube ich.
Mark, lead guys who make games, I believe was what we discussed as the titles.
Yeah,
That's the